Are about to hold their closing press conferences at Biarritz at the G7 summit in southwestern France. Host Emmanuel Macron announced a short time ago that the group of the world's richest industrial nations is close to reaching agreement on providing financial and technical support to tackle the fires raging in the Amazon. But while there have been a number of developments on bilateral issues, most notably a trade deal between Japan and the United States, there's little sign of collective agreement on the Iran nuclear dossier or on whether to readmit Russia into the group. Well, for more on this story, let's go to the summit in Biarritz now and talk to our political editor, Darren McCaffrey. Darren, good to see you there. What's been achieved at all at this summit?
You know what, that is a really good question. Let's start with some concrete details that we actually do have, and that refers to, as you said, the Amazon fires. We know that they had a meeting this morning to talk about global warming, about climate change, and of course, unsurprisingly, given the context of all of that, it did come up, the Amazon fires, with Emmanuel Macron and Boris Johnson pledging, $20 million to help put out those fires. Now, it must be noted, Totes, that one man who was not in that room was the US President Donald Trump, someone who I think you could probably describe as a climate change skeptic. He claimed that he had bilateral meetings with the Indian Prime Minister and the German Chancellor. The only thing is that they were in the room, so we're not entirely sure where he went to, but he was not there, but apparently supports the efforts by France and Britain to help with those fires in the Amazon. What else has been agreed? Well, at the moment, it's quite difficult to tell. We had that quite significant moment yesterday when we saw the Iranian foreign minister come here for talks with Emmanuel Macron, even though many of the leaders were kept in the dark that was happening. Not President Trump, though, apparently, who agreed that it should go ahead. Those talks have carried on throughout the afternoon. That was yesterday and this morning. But we don't really know if any substantial progress has been made. Hopefully we may well do at the press conference coming up shortly. And then on this issue of trade and China, well, what is happening there really is anyone's guess. We've seen the US President Donald Trump flip-flop over the last couple of days, increasing tariffs towards China on Friday, just before he came here. Then Totes, what yesterday seemed to suggest he was regretting it, only for the White House to suggest he was regretting that he didn't go further. And then this morning, sounding terribly conciliatory, saying that he was ready to hold talks with China. The calls had taken place over the weekend, though China denied that has happened, but looking quite positive about the prospects potentially of a deal that might well end this trade war between the two largest economies. But whether that's based in any form of reality, well, again, as I say, it is anyone's guess. So lots of things have been happening around the sidelines, Totes, but in terms of anything actually concrete, we don't really seem to have anything. Two things notable about that. First of all, there's not going to be a communique, a statement at the end of what has actually been agreed, given what happened in Canada last year. And second of all, what has been notable is kind of the isolation of the United States in all of this, whether it comes to trade, whether it comes to Iran, whether it comes to climate change, even Russia, as you suggested about its readmittance to the G8 as it would be. US at this side of the table, the other countries seem at the other end. But President Macron has made specific efforts all weekend to try and keep President Trump on side, keep him close by, hence why they're having that joint press conference in the next 30 minutes or so.